All right. Well, that was a quick trip. Complete my purchase of socks. Just been wearing my socks out. Got holes in my socks, so it was kind of time to get some new socks. Get rid of some of the old socks. A couple years ago now, I really took to heart um, decluttering and getting rid of things that I don't use on a regular basis, and just really simplifying, especially around dress, clothing, and stuff of that nature. So I try to just like keep what I need and basically can put what I have in from a clothing standpoint into a bag, a single like suitcase, duffel bag type style. For the most part, I mean, I've got a couple jackets, something some bulkier stuff that when I go into colder weather environments that are hard to package easily. Um, but yeah, otherwise, I really take inventory. If I wear them until they wear out, I like actually when things are worn in really nicely. Some things that have holes, I'll still wear it because I just really like the way that they fit and feel and they're comfortable. And that's really the number one factor: comfort and just feeling good. The vibes are good in the clothing, and that's it. And keeping it simple. Um, Because yeah, I mean, I don't know with the age or something, but I just don't like a lot of clothes. I don't really put it on FSD here as we make our turn. Um, so simplified and decluttered. It makes things easier getting dressed each day. Oh, that's not making a very solid turn. All right, gonna have to intervene, straighten that out. I don't know. I wasn't looking to see even where the line was showing. So that left-hand turn across multiple lanes into another, and it's still not getting this right. It has me going straight. Oh man, that's a bit of a fail start. Mercury. I've named my vehicle Mercury. Fun stuff all around with FSD, Tesla, having fun with your vehicle. You can name your car, and I've chosen the car name to be Mercury. All right, let's see if I can just disengage here and cut into the left lane. That was really crappy. Okay, here we go. All right, let's try this again. Getting back on FSD. So, I mean, it's not all perfect. It does have some struggles here and there. Obviously, we saw a couple. Made that left turn way too hard. Came into the wrong place. It was confused, so I had to help it out. Once it got into the lane, it went down the single lane road, which was going to go straight instead of left, so it wasn't falling. Oh, well, it would help if I actually put the navigation. User error. Always look back and see who's driving. User error. Oh man, fail on both ends. Fail on the car and fail for me. That kind of makes more sense. Why I was maybe confused about it, whether it was going a left turn or not. Okay, all right, back on track. Got ahead of myself, started talking about nonsense. So yeah, decluttering is a big focus. I don't like a lot of stuff. I try to value the things I do have, take care of them, make things a bit simpler, take on projects, take on things of that nature, activity wise. All right, it's doing it again. It's a 3-lane road that turns left, and it has trouble like knowing that it needs to stay in the far right lane road in order to get to where it needs to next, because here it needs to stay in this lane to be able to go right onto the highway. But it was trying to force itself over to the left side because of some sort of bias they've built in, to be in the leftmost lane, basically be on the whatever turn you're making, be on that side, the furthest to that side. It's I don't know. Hopefully, that's something that can be minimized or addressed, or it can grow through the AI learning system to know that it doesn't always need to be in the farthest lane of whatever direction it's turning, because that gets it in a lot of issues, especially when there's another turn coming up really quickly next, and it needs to make that decision. It doesn't navigate through multiple lanes in short order quickly enough, especially with aggressive drivers around you. It's not yet it's still being too cautious to be able to handle that. It requires other people to just slow down and let you in versus it pushing itself in, passive versus aggressive. passive versus, where is this thing going right now? It is really, it's having a moment. It's having a moment. It's all right. Can't have wins without losses. Can't grow without making mistakes. Yeah. So currently, like, my wardrobe kind of consists of mostly t-shirts, cotton t-shirts, very comfortable, easy to wear, breathable, and it's so needed in Florida. Jacksonville, Florida, man. Not only is it hot, but it is humid, and my body my composition, whatever I'm made of genetically, and has me. Oh man, this is really not doing well. It is struggling. All right, this might be uncomfortable. Okay, finally got there. That's usually not the case. Like, usually it gives a little bit more aggressiveness. I wonder if because of the battery levels being at where they are, I mean, I still have 10% by the time I get home by these estimates. If it's not driving, it's driving more conservatively to maintain, like, safe on battery. Now it's slowing down to get in this lane. This has been a difficult drive so far. It's been a while since I've had a drive like this, and I really do. I think the battery situation is affecting its how is affecting this drive. It's being more conservative, possibly with the battery usage. It's prioritizing range versus speed and drive. All right, well, moving along, I guess now, as I say that for the third time. Here, like, there's these odd things like this. Like, it gets in the lane at this point. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, t-shirts, mostly like jeans, athletic wear. Athletic wear has definitely become a big part of my wardrobe. So we'll wear like gym shorts and t-shirts or tank tops. Oh man, I'm really got into tank tops in the past since last year. I picked up a tank top and then I picked up a couple more, and I just fell in love with those, especially again here in Florida, being hot, humid, and my body just loving to sweat does not handle heat very. I mean, I guess it handles it very well, but the way it handles it can be uncomfortable in layers of clothes. I basically sweat, and so in order to feel comfortable, that definitely is my sweet spot. Tank tops and shorts. Otherwise, t-shirts and jeans, some sort of like slack jeans. Had some nice corduroys that were very thin and comfortable, but I wore those out. I ended up cutting those into shorts for a while, but those continued to tear, so I've got a big gaping hole in the backside. So I wear it with boxers now, with the hole. Really hard pressed to let go. Again, things that you value, you just like have an emotional attachment to. Yeah, worth keeping, because the rest of it I simplified enough to not. It's not a burden to keep a lot of stuff together. Helps with the laundry. I mean, things are just so much simpler this way. Easy and fun, and then that way energy and time can be spent on other things, like looking and scrolling through Twitter, which I recently have been doing way too much of. But I have a project coming up soon, so it'll at least get me back to I've got a house that's coming out of lease, and my plans are to fix it up a bit and get it on the market to sell. So I'm going to be working on that in the next couple of weeks. I'm kind of been chewing on ideas of what to do with the exterior. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pressure wash it and paint it. Remove the awnings. I'm going that direction, removing some of the awnings to make it more of a newer contemporary look, and add some aesthetics on the curb appeal. I'm kind of good at that. I feel like I'm good at that. Add some exterior aesthetics to give it some pop on the entrance, and then add some things in the back to show the versatility of the yard. Get some privacy fencing in, stuff like that. But definitely between paint and some exterior stuff, that should take care of it. The interior I already did pretty good amount of just updating to clean it up. So it looks nice inside, given that the tenants, leave it in good order and cleaned up. So hopefully just a few things only to do inside. I could possibly kind of redo the one bathroom, only from like taking out the old tub and putting in a new tub and shower with some new tile instead. That could make it a little bit better, but I'm not sure. That might be a little too far for me. I think I'll stop at that point. But that'll be my next project. I think will keep me busy, keep me off Twitter for a little while, at least on a more healthy dosage of Twitter versus where I'm at now. Alright, so we're not too far away. 6 minutes, 3.7 miles. Getting back to the home front. Something else that I've been also keeping a lot of my focus is trying to accumulate as much Tesla shares as I can right now. And maybe I'm trying to be a little bit more of an active trader in that regard. So you keeping my eye on the macro stuff. It's really strange. I mean, the economy and the sentiment and things, the way things go is just not always textbook. There's things that happen in between that give you opportunities, and I'm in the camp that believes that before things get worse, there's going to be kind of an area of time where things just look really good, given the backdrop of employment being really strong, people being, there's a consumer that has a lot of disposable income right now, even though it may not seem like it. You have indications that credit card usage and credit card debt is going up. But on the other end, you have Social Security. In the past year, Social Security benefits having had a cost adjustment that's getting passed down to seniors and retirees, along with the current next 60 to 90 days of getting refunds. And those refunds, the early indications are from the IRS that they're 50% higher than the previous year, which is astonishing. And so you got a lot of money coming into the market. It kind of probably explains the used car market situation, both from a demand side as well as there's a supply shortage of used cars. Dealerships are just not buying as many of the used cars. They're keeping things pretty lean because they also, gone through these cycles, know that it can only get worse given the interest rate increases. But for the time being, the limited supply and the additional income from those tax refund checks and retirees having more disposable income is really driving a strong consumer market, and that showed up in the retail sales as well. So you've got a backdrop of what seems like a really strong market. It doesn't bode well for the Fed, where they're in a tight spot. I don't believe the Fed wants to increase any further because they have some dynamics that they have to deal with. Increasing obviously will affect the consumer further, which, I mean, in many ways it already has in some big areas. Housing, in particular, sales have plummeted to lows that haven't been seen since 2002, and that's just at this before a recession's happening. So these interest rates have impacted large purchases like housing for sure, So, the Fed, I think my thesis, and the camp I'm in is that the Fed does not want to be increasing rates, even though inflation continues to be holding, if not, it's kind of slowing its decrease from end of last year into this year. They want to find reasons to limit the increase in the Fed funds rate, or if at all, find reasons to stop it and hold. So I think they're going to be continuing the narrative that they've started around wanting to assess their increases they've done so far, which have been pretty dramatic up to this point. They're going to use that. They're also going to use that that the market is still strong, and they're going to reassess inflation. I think they're going to start with this new trend or this new narrative that inflation, and it's kind of being spread and given into them. Basically, a lot of people keep asking questions about, is 2% a normal number still? Is this the number that we should be targeting? Papers being published, interviews that always have that question now. So there's definitely a camp, and there's a push to move away from this idea that 2% is the goal. Maybe 3.5% should be the goal. And oh man, you're not doing a good job today. I mean, typically it would be like, okay, we're gonna go around this vehicle. I don't know. Wow, that's just weird. I did restart. Every once in a while, I'll do a restart. I don't know how much of this information that it uses is cached or kept on the local, on the vehicle itself. But yeah, drive was less than stellar. Well, drive has been less than stellar. I give up my user error at the very beginning, not putting in the location into navigation. But man, so yeah, so so my thought is the thesis is that the rates are not going to be allowed to go any higher, both from the Fed side as well as the bond market. I don't think the bond market is willing to accept higher rates at this point. It seems like anything higher from if the 10-year and the 30-year and go past 4%, as well as the current 2-year treasuries end up going past, any further than 4.75%. It's not liking the idea of it getting past 4.7 to 5%. It seems like some sort of trigger for things to start to crack. I mean, if anything is an indication, the real estate market should be a glaring red flag. But yeah, so with that said, I'm like looking for the sentiment that's been so negative to become a driver for a rally that has already started and recently taken a dip, which I did take some profits on, and then I thought it would be a bit bigger, but I don't know. It might just be being bought up more quickly than expected. The shallowness of this dip could be an indication to the bears, the ones that are taking a strong short position, that they need to start covering, and that can happen slowly, but then quickly snowball. And in addition to the money that's been sitting on the side, in cash, having to find a place to get some beta, some gains, that it will drive a rather dramatic blow off of this market before it gets into ultimately a recession and the fallout. So try to take advantage of that situation. And I think Bitcoin is going to play a key role in the next cycle as far as the transition away from dollar's dominance and people wanting something that's less able to be manipulated and controlled by a government entity. All right, here we are. Parked, made it some way somehow, and that was the drive. Thanks for joining me.